Global warming. Climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. These shifts may be natural, such as through variations in the solar cycle, but since the 1800s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. Burning fossil fuels generates greenhouse gas emissions that act like a blanket wrapped around the earth, trapping the sun's heat and raising temperatures. Examples of greenhouse gas emissions that are causing climate change include carbon dioxide and methane. These come from using gasoline for driving a car or coal for heating a building, for example. Clearing land and forests can also release carbon dioxide. Landfills for garbage are a major source of methane emissions. Energy, industry, transport, buildings, agriculture, and land use are among the main emitters. So, as we see, this is the definition for global warming according to the United Nations. Okay, this is the United Nations website. Okay, so this is their explanation for this. Since as long as I can remember, they have been warning us about the coming cataclysm events. Here are the explanation for some of these events. Ice glaciers and melting. Human activities are at the root of this phenomenon. Specifically, since the Industrial Revolution, carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas emissions have raised temperatures even higher in the poles, and as a result, glaciers are rapidly melting, calving off into the sea and retreating on land. This was an article on worldwildlife.org. Earthquakes. Various different articles and news broadcasts will state that it's some sort of connection, or it may be a connection, between earthquakes and global warming. Meteors and asteroids, tsunamis, tornadoes, and hurricanes are some of the few of the various weather cataclysms that they are claiming that are occurring because of global warming and climate change, which is a result of us using fossil fuel, as I explained earlier. They broadcasted all over the news, warning people of global warming and their scientific solutions.
The mix of gases in the atmosphere at different times and seasons, different altitudes. Or monitoring the flux of life in the oceans, the movement of its hidden currents in relation to the changing temperature of its surface waters. Research of this kind is being stepped up worldwide. The need to understand the interplay of atmosphere and oceans has been given a new sense of urgency by the realization that our energy-consuming way of life may be causing climatic changes with adverse consequences for us all. Burn any organic matter, and its content of carbon combines with oxygen. Burning a cubic meter of natural gas produces roughly 2 kilograms of carbon dioxide. A liter of gasoline, 2.5 kilos. Burn a ton of coal, and you release up to 4 tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Since 1850, the consumption of these fossil fuels has increased 100-fold. Add to this the more recent burning of the tropical forests, and the result has been a marked and accelerating increase in the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. What they foresee is not a steady and even warming overall, but alterations to the familiar patterns of climate and the increasing frequency of abnormal weather.
So what do they believe will prevent global warming? Now, this is a legitimate article. It is on the government's website, climate.gov. What can we do to slow or stop global warming? And it reads, there is no one-size-fits-all approach to stopping or slowing global warming, and each individual, business, municipal, state, tribal, and federal entity must weigh their options in the light of their own unique set of circumstances. Expert says it is likely many strategies working together will be needed. Generally speaking, here are some examples of mitigation strategies we can use to slow or stop the human-caused global warming. Where possible, we can switch to renewable sources of energy, such as solar and wind energy, to power our homes and buildings, thus emitting far less heat-trapping gases into the atmosphere. Where feasible, we can drive electric vehicles instead of those that burn fossil fuels, or we can use mass transit instead of driving our own cars. Where affordable, we can conserve energy for better insulating our homes and buildings and replacing old, failing appliances with more energy-efficient models, electric cars. Where practical, we can counterbalance our annual carbon dioxide emissions by investing in commercial services that draw down an equal amount of carbon out of the atmosphere, such as through planting trees or carbon capture and storage techniques. Where practical, we can support more local businesses that use and promote sustainable, climate-smart practices such as those listed above. We can consider placing an upper limit on the amount of carbon dioxide we allow ourselves to emit into the atmosphere within a given time frame. Note that NOAA doesn't advocate for or against particular climate policies. Instead, NOAA's role is to provide data and scientific information about climate, including how it has changed and is likely to change in the future depending on different climate policies or actions society may or may not take. More guidance on courses of action can be found in the National Academy of Science 2010 report titled Informing on Effective Response to Climate Change. Stabilizing global temperature near its current level requires eliminating all emissions of heat-trapping gases, or equivalently, achieving a carbon-neutral society in which people remove as much carbon from the atmosphere as they emit. Sounds like electric to me, guys. Electrical world, okay? Everything electric. Achieving this goal will require sustainable societal changes in energy technologies and infrastructure that go beyond the collection actions of individuals and households to reduce emissions. So we see that they are warning the masses that in order to save Earth from this so-called climate change, we will have to basically stop using fossil fuels such as gas, for example, and begin to transition over to electric. This global warming deception sounds like it will usher in the electrical smart world being ran by artificial intelligence, which was planned to deceitfully destroy the world. But the fact that they are claiming that the climate changes and all of the strong weather conditions is due to the overuse of fossil fuels is the biggest deception. They believe that the earth needs to be depopulated because man is overconsuming.
Our foundation first started up, it was focused on reproductive health. That was the main thing we did because I thought, population growth in poor countries is the biggest problem they face. You've got to help mothers who want to limit family size have the tools and education to do that. And I thought that's the only thing that really counts. Well, then I came across articles that showed that the key thing you can do to reduce population growth is actually improve health. And that sounds paradoxical. You think, okay, better health means more kids, not less kids. Well, in fact, what parents are doing is they're trying to have 2 kids survive to adulthood to take care of them. And so the more disease burden there is, the more kids they have to have that high probability. So there's a perfect correlation that as you improve health, within a half generation, the population growth rate goes down. In fact, Hans Rosling here at this conference, in two of my favorite speeches, actually showed that unbelievable correlation that population growth has gone down. Today, where is there high population growth? It's in the places with the worst health conditions, northern Nigeria, northern India. And so the two problems go exactly hand in hand. If we improve health rapidly, we will get the peak population to be as much as 1 billion below the current expected peak. That is about 8.3 billion versus 9.3.
But this is just an excuse to kill off the people, especially those who don't agree with their agendas. But the truth is, only a remnant will seek the truth of the Messiah Yeshua. Majority of the people on earth will follow the beast. And they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Those who believe in global warming and all of their deceitful explanations for climate change are greatly deceived. So where are the cataclysmic weather conditions and disasters truly coming from? Yahuwah. And Yeshua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilence, and earthquakes in various places. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of Elohim, which hath power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. These are the plagues of Yahuwah that are currently occurring right now as we speak, and they are going to continue to become stronger and stronger as a woman that is travailing in birth. When you believe their global warming and other earthly theories, you won't see the importance of repentance, because Yah is sending the plagues to earth because of sin. If we don't repent, we will get hit with these plagues. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither anything, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of Elohim in their foreheads. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils, and idols of gold, and silver, and brass, and stone, and of wood, which neither can see, nor hear, nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts.